way, trying to build a wheel up this life require. Slowly letting go to regain control, it's like ice to tires. Shit had me slipping, I turned the heat up, jumped in the kitchen. Renewed commitment, removed the waste and improved the writer. Took up the taxes, I brought a bag and straight from the Shire. Thank the Messiah, my shoulders heavy, my thoughts inspire. The shots been fired, you cross the line and all love expires. I'm at that age where my peace of mind worth your life, and I wouldn't think twice about hella higher. My mind a million places, a million on my mind. This ain't purely entertainment. I see dollar signs and it get me stimulated. I'll never fall in line, then do no guessing. Know it's my turn, I saw all the signs. Yeah, it's a science, but mostly patience. I didn't resign. I had to hold it together and tell them we'll be fine. Even when I didn't know if that was true, I couldn't lose my pride.
Good morning, people. Just got back from an extended weekend. I was about to say vacation. I took a whole week off, man. Tried to get my rest in. But we back to it, picking up this load out here in the Atlas Tube in Chicago. I've been here before. It's like my 5th time here. Gonna check in with this guard right quick.
Preload or live load?
It's supposed to be a live load.
What time your appointment?
9 o'clock.
Pickup number?
812. Gotta put on the scale when we before we get our paperwork. Only one person in at a time. Yes, back to door 18 we go. This door 18 right here. See if this door unlocked. Oh. This door unlocked. Well, that was easy, somewhat. It always takes me about 2 hours to do what I got to do. Time right now is 12:35. So it's a little weird here. They want you to get loaded first, then they want you tarp, and of course those straps and all that. Then you got to bring them the paperwork, and then you get on the scale. Then you come back, get your paperwork, and you bounce. So it's a little backwards, but you know, I've been here 5 times already. That's how it is over here. So, but it's cool. There's a guy in there that, like I said, they only want one person in at a time. So I gotta get used to looking at this camera right there, not the screen. I should be used to this by now, man. Man, I caught myself trying to film with this Pocket 3, man. I ended up deleting that footage that I had when I went to that Love's truck stop. I had quite a bit of footage, man. I was hoping to be able to throw up here on the forums, man. I guess that's what happens when you trying to do something. End up deleting all that footage, man. All I did was go in there, grab me something to eat, got some fuel, went in there, grabbed me something to eat, man, because I was hungry, man. I had to stop. I had to stop, get me something to eat, man. I was so hungry, man. It's the first meal of the day. They had a Hardee's up in there. Went in there, grabbed me some chicken strips, 5 of those. Grabbed me 2 fish sandwiches, a medium fry, and a drink. I don't know what the total came out to, I forgot. Either way, it didn't matter, I was hungry. So that's what I ate, man. It was good. I ate all that too, man, my fat ass. First meal of the day, though, like I said, man. I'm glad I didn't get none out that vending machine out there when I was in Chicago picking up this steel. Trying to stay away from that. I'm also trying to stay away from all this fried food and all that. I talked about it before, but I really am trying to stay away from that. Like I said, if I do get it, I try to get small quantities of it and try not to eat it as often. But ain't too many healthy options out here, man, when you're driving these trucks, man. It really ain't. Out here on the road, man, it's just not a lot of healthy options. Even if you find a nice little sit-down restaurant, you know, it's still not a lot of good options because most foods got a lot of salt in it, a lot of sodium. You know, they do that for flavor and all that. But yeah, I had footage of me getting fuel and me going inside the truck stop and all that, man. Trying to get used to this damn Pocket 3, man. Right now I'm filming on my Action 5. You know, that's the camera that I use when I do, you know, the driving footage. Anytime when I'm driving, I just throw this camera right there on the windshield and use that because it's just easier. But I mean, it happens, man. You know, it ain't too often that I end up deleting footage. But because this camera is so new, I'm not used to it yet. I thought I turned it off. I ended up hitting the record button to shut it off. Because I had flipped the screen the way I got it set. I got it set to where when you flip the screen, it automatically turn off. Because I don't film in that vertical orientation. I don't. Everything that I do is horizontal. All my videos are that way because I don't film for TikTok, on Instagram, or none of that BS. You know, all my videos are for YouTube. So I set it to where when I flip the screen, it'll turn off. Even while it's recording, it'll automatically turn off. But when I flipped it, it didn't turn off. But I didn't think it was still recording. So I go to hit the power button and hold it while I hit the record button, because that's also the power button, turn it off. And I didn't even look at the screen while I was doing it. And then at the last second, I happened to look down at the screen. Then that's when I seen that it was canceling the video. Because with that Pocket 3, if you're recording a video, you could just hit that, press and hold that record button / power button. You press and hold that and it'll cancel the recording. And I didn't realize that until I looked down at the screen at the last second that it was canceling the video. By that time, it was too late. So all that footage got deleted, man. I went back and looked at it hoping, you know, I still had something. But now all of it's been gone. But like I said, it wasn't. It just showed me going in there. You know, I'm just trying to get used to walking around with that damn camera, man. Like I said, I'm trying to film more. I'm trying to show more out here, what I'm doing out here. That's all I'm trying to do, man. Trying to film as much as I can. But we have another shot at it, though. We have another shot at it. I'm going to do it again when I go to another truck stop. Now, I was using that little active track. I had that mounted up on it because this door got metal on it. So I had a little magnet. I mounted that damn thing up there on the door. And it was tracking me, man, as I was walking back and forth getting fuel. So I'm like, man, I had all this good footage, man, all that gone, man. I was so hurt and heated at the same time, boy. It's all good, though. Yeah, I got 726 miles to go. This load ain't doing till Wednesday. Today, Monday, of course. So we just making it, man. Time right now is like, I don't know, 5:43. Probably drive for another, I want to get down to about 670 miles or so before I shut it down. You know, my routine is I like to try to drive as far as I can before I shut it down. So that's what we're trying to do, man. Hopefully, I should be able to find a truck stop somewhere around up in that area once I get over there. I was also contemplating whether or not I want to stay out for another week or if I want to go home this Friday, but I think I'll just head to the crib. I can't be out here too long, man. This industry drives me up the wall, man. It drives me so far up the wall, man, it ain't even funny, man. So there's only so much of this BS I can take, man. There's only so much. I'm looking over there. I was trying to see, is there a truck stop? Seen them trucks parked over there. But anyway, so that's about it, man. We just making it, man. You know, temperature outside is like right here, it's showing 53 degrees. It might be that, I don't know. But the wind, that wind blowing, man, it got that. If it is 53 degrees outside with that wind blowing, it feel like it's like 43. You know, it's chilly, man. That's why I got this hoodie on. But once we get down there to Texas, man, you know, the farther south we go, the warmer it gets. So I'm looking forward to that. But we pretty much already in springtime as is. So temperature gonna start going up. And once the temperature start going up, then this flatbed should start to get a little bit easier, at least to me. You know, at least to me, it gets a little bit easier. Because when I first started, you know, I started back in August, so it was still summer. And I mean, it wasn't, you know, the only hard part, because I was new, and I was new at flatbed. I didn't know how to strap, I didn't know how to tarp. Well, I technically still don't know how to strap and tarp. You know, but I've definitely gotten better since then. You know, but now, you know, I went through my first winter, got that on, knocked that on out the park. You know, y'all seen what I went through doing that with them tarps and all that. I mean, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as some people say. You know, but it was bad enough. Now, man, we got through that. Now it's hopefully smooth sailing from here on out. Hopefully. Yeah, we out here at this pilot out here in Marion, Illinois. I think I've been here one time before, but it's been a minute. Parked all the way in the back. I was trying to go to that Love's over there, man, across the highway, man, but I couldn't figure out how to get over there, man. One of them twisty, turny type exits and all that, but you got to go this way and that way, and I probably could have just made a left at that light down there. I probably would have been there. At least they parking spots are free. Over here at this pilot, man, all these trucks in the back row, I think this whole setup is paid parking, man. Whole setup. The trucks parked up front, I think theirs is free, I think. I ain't too sure. You know, usually before I pay for parking, I like to look to see, you know, do they actually enforce it? Because not all places enforce it. I park places where they don't enforce the parking at all. And other places, man, as soon as you pull in, they own that. But this place here seemed to be hit or miss, so I went on here and paid for it. You know, I got points, so I ain't really tripping too hard. You know, I use my points to pay for this bullshit. But yeah, just got out the truck, did my little pre-trip, post-trip, and all that. Checked my load, everything good. I'm still salty, man. I deleted that footage, man. I really wish I could have kept that footage on there, man. I really did. You know, but it is what it is. Using the Pocket 3, you know, so when I move, as you see, the camera follow me and all that. You know, that's trippy, man. I ain't gonna even hold you. It really looked like, you know, somebody holding the camera, but no, it's the little pocket joint doing all that. Bought this camera last week while I was on my little extended stay, my extended weekend. You know, I said, you know, if I'm gonna make these videos every day, man, let me go ahead and grab this Pocket right quick, see what it's about. The camera been out damn near 2 years. You know, a lot of people praise it. You know, there's a few people that don't really like it like that, but you know, I'm getting used to it. You know, like I said, it's my first time really using it. Like I used it when I bought it yesterday when I was on home time, but this is the first time really using it out in the field, you know, getting used to it. So, you know, who knows, man, I might delete a couple of more footages before I end up finally getting used to it. One thing I got to remember to do is not look at the screen. I keep looking at the screen, man. I got to look right at the camera. You know, I got to get used to doing that. For some reason, it's like my eyes automatically go right to the screen, even though I got other cameras that got a screen right there. For some reason, my eyes just keep going right to the, see, I almost did it again. Looked at the screen, man. But yeah, though, so, but yeah, last week, man, like I said, I was on my little extended weekend stay. That's what I call it. I know some people might call it a vacation. I was off the whole week. That whole week I was off. I didn't go nowhere. I didn't do nothing. Just stayed at the crib, man. You know, I don't do the clubs. I don't do the nightlife. I don't do none of that, man. You know, when I goes home, I goes home. You know, my fun is at the crib, man. My fun ain't out, you know, in these streets, man. You know, I used to do that when I was in my 20s, my early 20s and my late teens, early 20s. I used to stay going on the block, just being all over. No, I ain't from the streets, man. You know, some of y'all can look at me and tell. Yeah, I ain't from the streets, and I ain't got no problem admitting it either. I ain't never been locked up, none of that. I ain't about that life, man. Don't want to be either. You know, but I'm just saying, like, I knew people that, I mean, you know, when you young, man, you meet new friends and all that. So I had a few friends that, you know, was in that life, you know, but they never brought it around me because they knew I wasn't about that life. So but we was on some cool stuff, man. We just talked about money and women, talked about females and all that. No, it was fun back in the day, man. Real fun. You know, but now that I'm older, man, I mean, I don't have kids, I don't have a family, but you know, going to the club and all that just ain't something that I want to do anymore. Last time I went to the club was like 11 years ago. Damn near. You know, I went to the club back in 2014 for my 30th birthday. You know, me and my cousin. Both our birthdays in October. And he had called me up and was like, man, you want to go to the club? Went to this club I ain't never been to before called Adriana's. You know, if you live in Chicago, you probably heard of it. You know, it was my first time going. So I was like, yeah, we can go. It was a group of us, man. About 5 or 6 of us went. I didn't enjoy it. I mean, yeah, it was packed. It was people everywhere. And, you know, and what I didn't know is that they have an upstairs. We was on the first floor. I mean, it was packed up in there, boy. It was so many people up in there. Katie got bands. I think she showed up. Y'all, if you from Chicago, you probably heard of her. And I think somebody else showed up. I can't remember. But it was just people all over the place, man. But like I said, I didn't enjoy it, man. Like I said, I was 30. I turned 30 at that time. And I don't know. I mean, the last time I went to a club before then was back when I was like maybe 25, 26, something like that. So that was like 4 or 5 years ago before I turned 30. You know, so for me to go back, you know, I wasn't missing nothing, man. It was the same old, man. I'm like, man, this ain't hitting like I thought it would. You know, I'm not enjoying this, man. No, I ain't been back to the club since. I did go again in November of that same year. My cousin, he wanted to go again because the Migos was playing out there in Adriana. So we ended up going in November, and I really didn't want to go. I mean, he begged me, boy. He begged me to go. He was like, come on, man, he was like, man, please. He didn't say please, but he really wanted to go see the Migos perform. And I really didn't want to go because, like I said, I didn't enjoy it the last time I went. But I went on here and did it. I was like, all right, man, let's go. So we went. And this time we was on the second floor, and this time it's just me and him. And yeah, I didn't enjoy it again. I hated it the second time I went than I did the first time, man. But, you know, he wanted to go, so I went because of him, man, because, you know, that's my cousin, or was my cousin. You know, I looked at the date, and today is March 31st, 2025, man. And 2 years ago today, my cousin passed away, man. Yeah, he died March 31st, 2023. Don't worry, I ain't gonna shed no tears on camera, man. I had already done that. You know, I did that 2 years ago when he passed away, man. His father and my father were brothers. So, you know, me and him, we was tight. Like, I got other uncles and aunties and things like that who got kids too. You know, I got other first cousins, but me and him, we were like this. We were like brothers, man. He was my brother. That's how I looked at him. He was 2 years younger than me. His birthday October 1st, and my birthday is October 4th. So we was like right there, you know, 2 years apart. So when we went to Adriana's back in 2014, I went to celebrate my 30th birthday, and he went to celebrate his 28th birthday. You know, it was like, man, I mean, I didn't like the club, but, you know, just being with cuz, being with fam, I mean, that was cool, man. I was like, you know, I always try to make it a good time whenever I'm hanging out with my family, but, you know, he passed away. So his name was Jonathan Melson. You know, so, I mean, he struggled. He had a pretty rough life. You know, he struggled a lot. You know, he been locked up. You know, so, you know, it was rough for him, but, I mean, it's over with now. So that's one of the reasons why, you know, after he passed away, man, I just lost a lot of interest in trucking. I just lost a lot of interest in doing this job. You know, matter of fact, any job in general, I just lost a lot of interest in doing it. So that's why whenever I go to the crib, man, I don't go to clubs or anything like that. I'm not saying I don't want to go out, I do. You know, my going out is like to the Bahamas or something. You know, hopping a flight, going to a whole nother country, seeing other cultures, trying different foods and all that. That's what's fun to me. That's what I want to do. You know, I got my passport. But my cousin, he passed away because I guess he had a heart attack. I'm not entirely sure. I never asked his moms about it. You know, I certainly didn't ask his pops about it. You know, so I mean, it's been 2 years. They did do an autopsy, but I don't know the results. I'm not gonna ask. You know, if they bring it up, then I know then. Until then, I believe he passed away from a heart attack. That's from my understanding. You know, if someone had saw him when he collapsed, then maybe he would have still been here. You know, but he was laid out for, I mean, I don't know how long, but he was laid out for a little while before somebody noticed. And then they went out and seen him. They called the, you know, the paramedics and all that. They showed up and they found out he had a weak pulse. So that's one of the reasons why I guess they thought they could save him. But, you know, by the time they get to a hospital, they couldn't revive him. That was it. So yeah, RP to Jonathan Melson, man, my cousin, man. I sure miss him, man. I really do. You know, I think about him, you know, not every day, but I do think about him every now and then. I thought about him today because, like I said, today marks 2 years since his passing. But yeah, that's what I do, man. I know Like I said, I call it an extended weekend. You know, because it's only a week off. That's all I took. I know some people call it a vacation. Even if I went somewhere, it still wouldn't be a vacation. Not for a week. You know, a week off, that's a weekend. You know, to me, a vacation, if you take 4 weeks or longer, a month, that's a vacation to me. Now, I know some people may not look at it like that, but that's how I look at it. You know, if I get a week off, whether I go somewhere or not, it's not a vacation. No, and even if I get a whole month off, you know, I could stay at home for that whole month. That's still a vacation to me. That's how I look at it, man. So, no, these little few days off, man, just ain't hitting, boy. Ain't hitting at all. I think I'm gonna head to the crib on Friday. You know, if they give me a load going back that way. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I might do that from now on. One thing I will say though, I'm so glad that, you know, it's no longer, cause it's like a little after 7 o'clock right now. See, the sun's still out. I love that, man. And I'm so glad that daylight savings crap is over. I hate that daylight savings time, man. I hate when it get dark at like 4 o'clock, 4:30. I don't like that. You know, it's a little after 7 o'clock and it's still light out. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, we got 653 miles to go before we get to where we got to get to drop this work off. And then from there, they can, you know, get me a load heading back up there to Chicago. You know, I was just thinking how over the last weekend, man, I got through this winter doing this flatbed, man. Pat myself on the back for that one. For real. Because I sure didn't think I was going to get through it. I'm like, man, this winter, that winter time, whole time. Because, you know, I started in August of last year. It was still hot outside. So the whole time, I'm like, man, I don't know if I'll be able to make this. I might be calling them in like, man, I'm ready to quit. Turn them keys in. Like, here, take all this. But no, I got through it. I sure got through it. I flew through that. Like, time went by so quick, boy. That's the main reason why I was able to do it, man. Because I just say, you know what? You know, every second that I spend out here is 1 second less that I got to deal with. So I just, even if it took me 2 hours to, you know, tarp a load or even fold up tarps or whatever the case may be, you know, every second that I spent out there when it was like minus 10 degrees outside and all that, man, there's 1 second less that I didn't have to do it. That's how I was thinking about it. That's how I was able to get through it. I was thinking about it just like that, man. No, I didn't look at how much I had left to go. I just kept looking at what I've already done, if that makes sense. And I got through it, man. I mean, it worked for me. You know, everyone has their own methods of doing it. You know, I don't give up so easy, man. If it's something that I'm interested in, if I'm interested in it, then I'm not going to give up. Now, if I'm not interested, then yeah, I give up because I'm just not interested. But since I want to do flatbed, you know, I want to see what it's really like, especially in the winter. You know, I stuck it out. I seen what it was like. I'm like, yeah, this all right. I'm not saying I want to do it forever because I don't. You know, but for what it's worth for right now, man, it's cool, man. Especially since it's starting to get warmer out. You know, it get a little bit easier when it get warmer out, at least to me. I know some people don't like it when it get hot outside, but I do. I love the summer, man. I love it. You know, it seems like the older I get, the more I want to be around warm weather. And I get tired of being around all this cold, man. No, I live in Chicago, but, you know, born and raised out there, you know, Chicago, our weather be crazy, man. No, we don't really get a lot of snow out there, but we get a lot of that freezing rain, and it get real cold out there, man. We get like a whole week where it be like in the negatives. Now, of course, I know y'all up there in Canada and Alaska, man, y'all used to that. You know, out there in Wyoming and places, one dude, he was like, yeah, man, we get snow in Wyoming even in July. That's what he said. So I'm like, damn. So I know they be loving it when it get like 60 degrees outside. But, you know, for Chicago, man, it's like, you know, we get a lot of freezing rain and it get real cold out there. The wind, you know, like today, it was so windy out and it was cold. I heard that guy, he was like, man, it wasn't too bad. I was like, not to me, it wasn't. To me, it was bad, man. I wasn't used to that. I'm like, man, it's cold out here, boy. That's why I had this hoodie on. I'm like, I need to go somewhere where it's warm, man. Of course, that wind was blowing. You know, that wind chill, boy, made it feel like it was 10 degrees less. So if it was in the 50s, it was probably in the 40s with that wind chill. But we got through that too. You know, that's all that matters, man. We got through that too. That's all it is, man. It took me about 2.5 hours to get everything situated. Only because I had to put that plastic on the load. You know, today March 31st, but they said that plastic need to be on there all the way up until April 1st, which is tomorrow. So if today was April 1st, I probably wouldn't need to put that plastic on there. But it is what it is. It didn't take me long. I mean, y'all seen it. I know I was chopping and screwing and all that, but it didn't take me long to put it on there. And play ain't the first time I put plastic on it. Like I said, I've been there like 5 times already. So I already knew what I got to do, all that, man. That's one of the good things about staying out longer, at least here at Maverick, because because they just keep running you around the circle. Because since I live in Chicago, they have me go, if I go west, I might go down there to Texas or something like that. Then I might skeet over to North Carolina or something like that. Then shoot up to Virginia, then maybe over there to Michigan, and then slide back over there to Minnesota. Just a circle. Just do that whole circle. The farthest west that I can go is Texas. I ain't going to Colorado, Wyoming, none of that. Utah, they don't send us that far out. Now, if you live in Texas, I forget where they say if you live in Texas, where they send you at. But since I live in Chicago, the farthest west I go is really Texas. Oklahoma, I go there. I don't think I went to Iowa or Kansas. Even though that's like in that vicinity. But yeah, I don't think I delivered there or picked up there. But I know I go to Oklahoma a lot, Texas a lot, North Carolina a lot. I think I've been to Georgia a few times, Louisiana. My favorite state. I love it out there. Love Louisiana. Virginia, Ohio. I don't think I delivered in Pennsylvania. Maybe I did, maybe once or twice. Yeah, I did. A few times I delivered out there in Pennsylvania. It's been a minute. But I delivered out there. I think I went to New York once. Not the city part, but just, the state. I think I delivered in Vermont. That's the farthest east that I went. Yeah, just around there. Ain't too bad. But since it's getting warm outside, then, it'd be cool. Yeah, I don't know. If I feel like I stay out another week, not, I'll just head back to the crib. I know this week I'm going to head back to the crib, but maybe next week I might stay out for another week, do 2 weeks, something like that. I don't know yet. But we'll see, man. I ain't going to hold you, man. I'm going to end it right here.